Hi everyone, Chris here from IELTS Advantage with another success story. So we have Simon, and he's a doctor, and like many of you, he was struggling to get the scores that he needed. And the most common thing that we hear is people who are stuck at a 6.5 in writing. So he tried to do the test three times, didn't get the score that he needed, and then when we started working with me, we were able to help him get the score that he needed. So this video is to show you guys a little bit more about his success, and hopefully you guys will be able to learn a little bit from him, and be able to get some free advice, and so that you guys can help yourselves and get the scores that you need. So Simon, can you first start off just by introducing yourself to everybody?
Hi, Chris. My name is Simon Abraham. I'm from Mumbai, and I'm a doctor by profession. I'm working currently in Mumbai itself, and I wanted to give the IELTS exam so that I can pursue being a doctor in the UK.
Excellent. And can you tell everybody a little bit about your past experience with IELTS? So, what did you struggle with? What scores did you get? Just to give people a little bit of context.
Earlier, I had given the IELTS thrice prior to this, and all the three times, all I used to get is 6.5 in writing. The other modules are okay. I used to get an 8, 8.5. So those modules are fine: reading, writing, and speaking. But only the reading, listening, and speaking were fine. The writing was the one where I used to get constantly 6.5, thrice in a row, 6.5, and I was really frustrated because just to miss it by zero point 0.5 is like you have to rewrite the entire test again, to go through the grind all the time. So that was a big issue, and it was getting to me a little bit. And then I came across your IELTS Advantage course, and I got in touch with you, and I read about the VIP course. I got myself enrolled in the writing section of the VIP, and as it went on, today, later on, after the fourth test, like on the fourth attempt, I've gone from a 6.5 from the last three occasions to a 7.5 this time now
Excellent.
in writing.
Excellent. So that's the most common thing that we get in our inbox every single day is I got high scores for reading and listening,
Yeah.
so scores for speaking, but I keep getting a low score for writing. Why do you think it is? Or obviously every student is different,
Mhm.
but for you, why do you think that you struggled for so long with writing? What do you think what are the
I,
reasons why?
I think in hindsight right now, when I've gone through your course, I felt that I was given a lot of advices because I did attend a lot of other coaching for IELTS exam as well. I had a lot of advices and a lot of inputs, but none of it, which right now I feel were on point. None of
Mhm.
those was as precise as yours was. Yours was absolutely structured as to how much I'm supposed to write, what I'm supposed to write, and how many words am I supposed to put in,
Mhm.
what should be put in, where should be what. So it was really precise, and that was I think a huge difference because ideas was never an issue with me. I always had the ideas, but I do feel that on occasions I might have overdid it by increasing the number of paragraphs or
Mhm.
writing ideas with examples which are not connected to the ideas.
Mhm.
So I think that made a lot of difference. Your course was pinpoint and accurate, and I knew that what I'm supposed to write, especially for when you're going into IELTS task 2 and trying to attempt different type of tasks. It's
Mhm.
not like you don't know what type of a question might turn up during the exam. So
Mhm.
I knew in my head that I had a format write up, thanks to you and your course, that if this is the question, for instance, if it's agree disagree, this is the format. If it's
Mhm.
advantage disadvantage, this is the format. So it was all like a blueprint exactly to
Mhm.
say, and that's all I applied.
And when I gave you feedback on your work,
Mhm.
what were
Mhm.
the reasons why, the particular reasons why you were getting a 6.5?
I think the most important feedback which I got from you was how I wrote my introduction, because it was the main. I think it starts off from there. It's like a make or
Mhm.
break from there. So
Mhm.
what I used to do was I used to write a lot of phrases in the introduction,
Mhm.
and which I felt like after going through a course which was absolutely wrong, and
Mhm.
I don't think so I needed to do that. that. All I needed to do is just paraphrase and put my main ideas into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that cut a lot of time me spending on introduction.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where that was one of your most valuable points which you gave me, was how should I write my introduction, and reiterating those points in my conclusion.
Yeah.
Nothing to put excessive or something extra in the conclusion. And
Yeah.
I still remember when I gave you the examples, the corrections for you to write down. What you did was you marked down what is a topic sentence, where I'm supposed to put, how am I supposed to explain the topic sentence and give the example. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. What used to happen with me was there used to be a lot of ideas in my head, and I used to just keep them writing down one after the other. So there were multiple ideas,
Yeah.
but there was not as much of explanation towards it, you know? So
Yeah.
I think those were three to four more main important
Yeah, and
things. Sorry.
everybody's different, but it's those three things can mean the difference between you getting a 6.5 and you getting a 7.5. So if you have an
Absolutely. Absolutely.
ineffective introduction just full of background information and phrases and quotes and idioms and things like that that don't actually answer the question at all, and then you're talking about your
Exactly.
conclusion. If you're writing an ineffective conclusion and not including your opinion, if it asks for your opinion, not including your position, that's also a big problem. And then talking about putting too many ideas into your main body paragraphs, that means that none of those ideas are developed. So they're not explained, they're not supported with examples. So just fixing those things, for many people watching this video, they might be having the same problems, because the advice that you got before was very similar to what a lot of people are told when they go to a school or a review center to, add in background information into your introduction, then in the main body, add as many ideas as you can, and then in the conclusion, don't actually put your opinion or anything like that. So just someone looking at your writing and identifying those things. And for people watching this video, it might not be those things. It could be 10 other things or 20 other things, but it's really important that you do get that feedback, because for you, if you didn't do that, you might have repeated the test another 3 times. And how much is that going to cost you? Another $1,000 or something like that in fees and tuition fees and all of those different things. So, spending a much smaller amount of money getting your writing checked or joining a good course is much, much better. So do you have any other advice for, let's say, people like yourself, doctors or medical professionals or nurses who are struggling with this? Would you give them any other advice about writing? Maybe task 1? If you can remember.
Luckily for task 1, I had a process. It was a sheep rearing process, and I still remember for your thing, what you had told me when it came to processes. You got to describe whether it's like it was the small things, Chris, which made the difference. I feel because as I said, for writing task 1 as well, you had formulated like a plan for every task, how it's supposed to be approached. So if your approach is right, your entire result would be different. For instance, I had this process, and I still remember what you said. You said like define whether distinguish whether it's a man-made process or a natural process, whether it's linear or cyclical. Are there any raw materials used? What's the end? What's the start point? What's the end point? How to write an overview. That was the main thing in task 1, is what I feel. I never wrote an overview the past three times. I always wrote a conclusion.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's maybe one of the other reasons why you were getting a 6.5.
Probably. So that was a huge eye opener. I had never heard about an overview, writing an overview earlier, until I had seen your course. So that made a difference as well. So the main points were covered in the overview, and then I just had to write a couple of more paragraphs, adding a little bit of vocabulary here and there. And
a lot of people focus on task 2, and they don't realize how important task 1 is. Because you can write a really good task 2, but if you completely mess up task 1, or not even completely mess it up, a lot of people are getting a 7 or an 8 for task 2, but then they're getting a 6 or 5.5 or a 6.5 for task 1, and that's dragging them down. It's only worth a third, but I think a third is massive because it makes a big difference. And what you said there about getting a process diagram, so you might get a process diagram, you might get a map, you might get pie charts, tables, line graphs, bar charts, a combination of all of those different things. I was speaking to another student yesterday, and she joined another course, and she asked her teacher, what about maps? What about process diagrams? And he just said, oh, we don't teach that. It's like, what? You know, and a lot of students would be happy if the teacher said that, because they don't want to do the extra work. Because you have to be prepared for all of the different task 1 questions, all of the different task 2 questions, and be totally prepared that no matter what comes up, you're going to get the score you need. And just to, you know, related to the first point I was talking about, you know, investing a little bit of money in getting your writing checked. Same with time. Investing a little bit of time, you know, investing a couple of more days or weeks preparing properly is going to save you so much time in the future, because you're not going to have to repeat it over and over and over again. So I think that investment of time and learning everything properly really does help. And because, you know, there are no tricks, there are no shortcuts. It's like, you know, you're a doctor. Are there any tricks or shortcuts to losing weight or, you know, or getting fit or getting healthy? No, you just have to do a lot of hard work, and you know, and that really helps.
Exactly.
So, what's your future hold for you now, Simon? I know you told me you're moving to the UK. So, do you have a job lined up there already?
No, I'll have to give actually the requirement for me to write the exam, the entrance exam in the UK, was a 7 band in each. So that is done. Now I have to write another exam, which will be coming up either in in September or in November. I have to take a call on which.
The PLAB exam, is it?
Yeah, true. Yeah, exactly. The PLAB exam.
We have so many doctors on our course, so I know. I can't teach the PLAB exam, but I know a lot about it.
So the plan is that, and once I write the PLAB 1, there's a PLAB 2 as well, for which you have to come to UK and then give it. It's like OSCE exam, where you come and it's done on live patients, and examiner checks you. So that's the process. But the basic requirement to be eligible to write that exam was the IELTS 7.5 overall. And this time I've got an 8 overall. So
excellent.
So,
So we have a strategic alliance with a recruitment consultant in the UK. He's a medical recruitment consultant, and he was just talking to me the other day and talking about how difficult it is to get doctors, and they are really in need of doctors in the UK, and the thing that's stopping them is the IELTS test. So it's a big problem for a lot of doctors, but something that is, you know, fixable. Just like any big problem, most things can be fixed. So Simon, thank you very much for sharing. That's, you know, really good advice for a lot of people. And if you need any help in the future, just let me know, Simon.
Sure, Chris. Sure. Thanks a lot. Thanks for all your help.
You're welcome.
I'm really glad. I'm really glad that your module and your teaching helped me out. And thanks again, man. Thanks.
You're welcome. It makes my job much easier to have students like you. So thank you very much, Sam. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks. Take care. Bye.